Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Arlene Diamco, the multidimensional MD. Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode of my podcast. And I apologize if you had hopped on just a second ago, but that my mic was not properly connected. But now I'm back and it is connected. And before I get started with today's episode, I wanted to make a few announcements because I'm so proud of everyone that has attended one of the School of Stillness courses. We had two big new courses in the last couple of weeks. One was on etheric body healing, where we had 10 people come in and learn how to perceive the etheric body safely and effectively and be able to integrate that into their own healing and to see the amazing transformations that people are able to go through. And that was a full weekend workshop during the storm where the roads iced up and almost everybody was able to make it, which is absolutely incredible. And we also had oral functional health workshop. It's a 2-hour workshop where we did before and after measurements and pictures and videos so that people could record their own transformations and have that to be able to look at for encouragement and to see that not everything has to take a long time to shift. There's no judgment if we take a long time to shift, but that we can have major shifts in a very short period of time. And that is accessing all worlds, that quantum healing, the multidimensional aspects of our being. And it's so much of that. I spend my time on with one-on-one appointments, but also now with teaching both physicians and other people of all walks of life, all different professions, all different backgrounds. So I welcome you. If you're called to look into that, attend any of the School of Stillness courses, then just let us know. We would love to hear from you, and we'd love to put you on one of the wait lists for our dates for the future. The third announcement I had was on a new device that I have been looking for, a way to be able to measure our energy fields, our biofields. And within our energy fields, the etheric body is part of that, but there is this energetic blueprint that can help us to inform our physical health. And after looking at all different ones, talking to or listening to discussions from Shamini Jain's Consciousness and Health Initiative, CHI, to talking to other colleagues, I have decided to get a device called the BioWell. And this was developed by Dr. Konstantin Korotkov from Russia. He's one of the leading quantum physicists. And I am just so thrilled to be able to use this device. We've just started using it. And if you would like more information on that, then you can go to the website, allworldshealth.com, go under services and look at the BioWell, because we will be offering that as one of our list of services as well. It helps you check your biofield, your energy in the biofield, energy imbalances, where there's too much energy, too little energy, and balances between right and left sides, and what you can do about it, lifestyle things you can do about it. And you get a soundtrack, a music file, an MP3 music file that you can listen to help balance your chakras. So this is absolutely amazing. And for a sneak peek for next week, I will be interviewing Dr. Konstantin Korotkov, and he is in St. Petersburg, Russia. So it's just, I'm just so looking forward to this interview. And I was so excited about that I had not plugged in my microphone correctly earlier, but I'm so excited. So please check in next week, and I'll have that video recording for you with Dr. Konstantin Korotkov, the inventor of the BioWell and master quantum physicist. And I think we have so many things to talk about, which leads me now to today's episode. If you didn't know, or if you haven't noticed, I love to delve into the esoteric and those depths of our human existence, because this is like fully living and living in with that soul meaning behind our thoughts, our words, and actions, and figuring out ways to take these deep dives in safe, effective, and practical ways. So Today, I'll be reviewing a quick multidimensional tool that was recommended by Rudolf Steiner. So, Rudolf Steiner was an Australian, or excuse me, Austrian from Europe, Austrian philosopher and social reformer, and founder of the Waldorf schools and biodynamic agriculture. He was brilliant, but he was also brilliant in terms of delving into the multidimensional aspects of our being. So this 4-minute tool is called the backwards review. And in essence, you'll review your day backwards. I'm going to go through the details of how to do that, but even for just 4 minutes. And what this helps do is it helps to boost memory, helps to improve problem solving, foster resilience, form new neural pathways, and create calm in our worlds. So as Rudolf Steiner said, to truly know the world, look deeply within your own being. To truly know yourself, take real interest in the world. Don't you love that? It's like go within, and as within, go without. And so take interest in yourself and each other and the world. And we sure could use a lot more of that right now. So this backward review is a practice that's used by psychologists, entrepreneurs, scientists, students, innovators, and so many other people. And so we're going to take a look at that. So a little bit more about Rudolf Steiner. He lived from 1861 to 1925. And I just found out today that his birthday was February 27, which is my birthday. These little things that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so great. No wonder that we are both interested in these really esoteric things. He was born in former Hungary, now Croatia. And from the Rudolf Steiner archives, it says that he gained access through exploration of consciousness using the same method as the natural scientist uses for the visible world in his external research. This widened perspective enabled him to give significant impulses in many areas, such as art, pedagogy, curative education, medicine, agriculture, architecture, economy, and social sciences, aiming towards the spiritual renewal of civilization. He was, oh my gosh, he wrote in detail and depth about so many different aspects of life. And there's true brilliance there. And true brilliance to me is when you're so interested in all those dimensions of life, and you come from a loving, kind, connecting perspective. And again, we sure could use a lot more of that right now, which is why I'm talking about this today. So, a little bit more about the backward review described by Rudolf Steiner. So, I'm going to read you a passage from his outline of esoteric sciences that's on the backwards review. And sometimes, in these old writings, it can be seem kind of archaic, but we're going to break it down. Okay. But I want you to be able to read it, to hear it in his own words, because there's something about that perspective, and then we'll extract that meaning and then put it to a practical use for ourselves for today. He says, the ability to behold one's own experiences, one's own joys and sorrows, as though they were the joys and sorrows of others, is a good preparation for spiritual training. One gradually attains the necessary degree of this quality if, after one has finished one's daily tasks, one permits the panorama of one's daily experiences to pass before the eyes of the spirit. One must see oneself in a picture within one's experiences. That is, one must observe oneself in one's daily life as though from the outside. One attains a certain ability in such self-observation if one begins with the visualization of detached portions of this daily life. One then becomes increasingly clever and skillful in such retrospect, so that after a longer period of practice, one will be able to form a complete picture within a brief span of time. This looking at one's experiences backward has a special value for spiritual training for the reason that it brings the soul to a point where it is able to release itself in thinking from the previous habit of merely following in thought the course of everyday events. In thought retrospect, one visualizes correctly, but one is not held to the sensory course of events. One needs this exercise to familiarize oneself with the spiritual world, Thought strengthens itself in this way in a healthy manner. It is therefore also good not only to review in retrospect one's daily life, but to retrace in reverse order, for instance, the course of a drama, a narrative, or a melody. More and more, it will become the ideal for the student to relate himself to the life events he encounters in such a way that with inner certainty and soul tranquility, he allows them to approach him and does not judge them according to his soul condition, but according to their inner significance and their inner value. It is just by looking upon this ideal that he will create for himself the sole basis for the surrender of himself to the above described meditations on symbolic and other thoughts and feelings. So, in other words, this backwards review helps to cultivate your inner picture making. This is your imagination, or as Rudolf Steiner calls it, your living picture imagination. Your living picture imagination. It is how we live and create an experience in the world. And it's using our consciousness manifestation system with loving awareness. And this kind of reminds me of what people have described happens when you cross over, that you have this kind of life review. My friend Maudie Fowler has talked about that. She's a spiritual consultant, she's mystic, she's has the gift of clear hearing, and she talks to souls, to beings, to people that have crossed over. And there is a time of the life review, and it's very interesting, the purpose to consider that, the purpose of the life review, but let's just take it in smaller chunks. So here with the backwards review, it's like we get to practice our life review, but in just a little tiny step, a little baby step. And it's so useful because it is practicing our imagination, our manifestation creation system, by using like our beings and our spiritual awareness, our consciousness, and our minds and our thoughts. And we get to review things. And so we get to practice this healthy kind of consciousness and getting in touch with ourselves, our soul. And in doing that, we don't let our outside experiences determine what we're going to experience, what we are going through. So we get to create the world from the inside out. And that is something that does take practice. And so if we take these small steps from in everyday life to do that, then we will be able to strengthen our conscious manifestation so that we can create in the world from this more loving awareness, a loving awareness of our true selves. So let's go through the basic instructions for the this backwards review. Okay, this comes from Rudolf Steiner. If you're just listening to this, and again, this helps to cultivate your inner awareness, your ability to imagine things, and this is your conscious manifestation system, so that we can create in the world from the inside out, versus letting our external sensory input come in, outside in, and determine our reality. So you see how useful this could be? So here are the basic instructions. 1, you'll do this at the end of the day, and you can do this lying down. So as you put yourself to sleep at night, and then you're going to start to retrace the day from lying down and then going in reverse. So 2nd, you'll spend about 2 minutes from bedtime to the afternoon, and then about 2 minutes from the afternoon to morning. These are just suggestions. You can spend however much time you would like. 3, you're going to imagine a detailed movie or visualization, or as Dr. Still, the founder of osteopathy, would say, just see it. Just see it. And I know some people have a little harder time visualizing things. And so this would be a great way to practice your imagination. And you could play it like a movie, and you could involve other senses. So if you have other senses more developed, then you can walk through your movie with that. We say see it, but it's like more just go through it. But this time, you will be a neutral witness to it. You won't be judging. Okay. And this is really incredible to do, because you are literally acknowledging yourself and your experience. So maybe, like, again, this is similar to what I think of what happens when people cross over. You have that life review where you're a neutral witness to what happened in your life. That doesn't mean that you can't say, "Oh, I'd like to do things better one way or the other." It doesn't mean you don't reflect on it. It means that you just go through it bit by bit in these tiny pieces, and you love all of you and everything that you went through, not because you liked going through it, because you love you and you love that part of your being that went through it. Okay, so next, neutral witnessing, then you will reflect. How would you like to refine your experience for the next day? And again, first acknowledge, neutral acknowledgement, but sure, we can identify things like, I think that things could have gone more smoothly if I did this, if I said this, or if maybe I reacted this way or responded this way. What sorts of things would you like to do to refine your experience? And again, you're still coming from that very loving perspective. So it's not saying like, oh my gosh, I'm terrible or I'm just not good enough. It's like, no, I'm a conscious being and I'm so loving that I'm willing to give myself the time to review myself, to take care of myself and check out those parts that need more help. What areas of me need my conscious awareness to help out? Because it's really hard to change if we don't really pay any attention to ourselves. We just ignore those parts and wish them to go away. It doesn't really change those habits. And then next, you're going to make an affirmation or some kind of intention for the next day. How I'd like to feel or how I'd like to be more peaceful, say things in a more kind way, maybe say have more kind thoughts to myself first, right? And and then lastly, I like to add this ask because you're going to sleep at night and the veil is thin there. So your access to your spiritual world, to your guidance and beings from beyond, whatever you believe in, loved ones that could help you, just ask for help from the universe, from God, from the stillness. Ask for help for through this intention, whatever you'd like to set for the next day. So you start to see the steps of this. Okay, it's really doesn't have to take long. It's just minutes. You lie down, you review your day from lying down in reverse order back to from dinner and lunch and breakfast and all the things in between. Play it like a movie. Use your senses. See it if you can. If not, just engage other senses. See it neutrally or see the experience the movie neutrally. You're not judging. You're just there to be with yourself and to review. And then you reflect on it. Like, how would you like to refine it? Again, in a very loving way. Set your intention and ask for help. That's it. If you do this, you will see that many things can change in your life. And if you just take maybe just minutes and start with it every night, do your practice, do an experiment, do it for a week, do it for 2 weeks and see what happens. Let me know in the comments if you do practice it and see what happens in your days following. And lastly, I'd like to offer just a little variation, which is a physical variation of this walking backwards, because studies have shown that walking backwards helps with cognition, problem solving, decision making. Because it helps to activate the prefrontal cortex, which is fascinating to me because it's like it's doing all the similar things that this backwards review does. But if the backwards review is just like too cognitive for you right now, then maybe let's just take a physical variation on it. You could just walk safely. I don't know if you have a treadmill, it goes very slowly, or if you walk with a partner, have one partner walking forward and you can hold on to each other and you can walk backwards and they can look out for you. So don't hurt yourself in trying to get healthy. So if you do this, a study said do this for about 10 to 15 minutes per day. Probably even less than that would be helpful. And you can get the same benefit. Oh, and they found in studies, if you just imagined walking backwards, that could also improve your memory. Fascinating what we can do with this mind, body, spirit connection. So I hope that that is helpful for you in some way. Let me know if you decide to practice this backwards review or walking backwards to activate different parts of your brain to help form new neural pathways. You are literally retracing steps. So, instead of going through in forwards motion, where what you're used to doing, which can start to get more rote and more like a default practice. If we do things in an order that we're not used to, it is actually challenging our brains and asking it to make new neural pathways, which is advantageous to us because we can access more parts of our brain. And when we're not doing things rote, we're doing things more purposely, more consciously. So see how that works for you and your life. Please, I would love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments. Like this, share this with anyone that you think could use it. It is great for many different ages. And if you could use some more help with your thinking, with your memory, with resilience, with problem solving, with innovation, with creativity, with creating more calm in your life, then try it out. Why not? So, thank you so much for joining me today. If you'd like to connect with me in other ways, you can on Instagram at All Worlds Health. You can on Facebook, All Worlds Health and Pediatrics. You can sign up for my e-love letters. I send them out about once a week or every other week, on usually on Wednesdays, and that's on allworldshealth.com. And I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to see you. Please drop me a comment, and lots of love to you. I believe in you, and I hope that you believe in you too. I'll see you next time. And don't forget, look out for next week's video with my interview with the leading Russian quantum physicist, Dr. Konstantin Korotkov, who has studied consciousness for his whole life pretty much. And he has invented many things, including the BioWell, which measures the human energy field and much more. Lots of love to you. Take care. Bye.